5 of Nigeria's most senior legal minds are waking up every morning to a reality they never imagined possible. Their chambers are empty, their bank accounts are frozen, their names are plastered across criminal charge sheets, and the very system they allegedly corrupted is now dismantling them piece by piece. This is not rumor, this is not speculation. This is the full weight of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC, descending with precision and force on 5 senior advocates of Nigeria. And at the center of it all is a staggering allegation that these 5 legal giants collected 50 billion naira to engineer the unlawful conviction of Nnamdi Kanu. Segment 1. The Raids. The ICPC did not send letters, they did not issue polite invitations. Investigators moved at dawn, and they moved hard. Law chambers belonging to all 5 senior advocates of Nigeria were simultaneously raided in Abuja and Lagos. Teams swept through every room, seizing laptops, hard drives, mobile phones, physical files, and every document that could establish a link to the alleged bribe. Nothing was spared. Private residences connected to each SAN were also searched thoroughly, with investigators turning over every corner for evidence of the 50 billion naira transaction. The financial assault followed immediately. Bank accounts tied to the payments were frozen on the spot. The ICPC issued orders locking down millions in assets, cutting off any movement of funds that could be traced back to the alleged bribe. Properties, vehicles, and investments suspected to have been acquired with the illicit money have been marked for seizure and forfeiture. This was not a tentative probe. This was a full-scale operation designed to leave no escape route. Segment 2. The Charges. Following the raids, all 5 SANs were summoned for formal questioning. They sat through long, intense sessions, confronted by investigators armed with hard evidence, bank transfer records, signed ledgers, and internal memos that detailed their specific roles in the alleged plot. The charges filed by the ICPC are direct and devastating. Each of the 5 SANs faces criminal prosecution for accepting gratification to influence judicial proceedings, conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, obstruction of justice, and money laundering. These are not minor infractions. They strike at the very foundation of the legal profession. The evidence presented is described as clear and overwhelming. Wire transfers that match the flow of the alleged bribe money, ledgers that specify the exact tasks each SAN was assigned, internal memos that spell out the deliverables expected in exchange for payment. Among the documented roles, inserting manufactured documents into court records, coaching witnesses to align with a predetermined narrative, blocking every legitimate challenge to charges brought under the repealed Terrorism Prevention Act, and coordinating communications to keep the entire operation intact. Prosecutors are pushing for the maximum penalties, imprisonment of 5 to 7 years or more per count, massive fines, and total forfeiture of all assets traced to the bribe. Segment 3. Professional Destruction. The legal consequences do not stop at the criminal court. The Nigerian Bar Association and the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee have moved with equal speed and force. Formal complaints have been filed against all 5 SANs for professional misconduct of the highest order. Hearings are already underway. All 5 have been suspended from legal practice with immediate effect. They cannot appear in any court. They cannot advise clients. They cannot sign any legal document. Their licenses are effectively paralyzed while the disciplinary proceedings unfold. The body of benches is now moving aggressively to strip each of the 5 of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria rank, a title that once represented the pinnacle of legal excellence in this country. The proceedings are clear in their finding. Accepting billions to rig a trial, suppress evidence, coach witnesses, and advance a prosecution under a repealed law constitutes infamous conduct that brings the entire legal profession into disrepute. The SAN rank is not a right, it is a privilege. And that privilege is being permanently revoked. Applications filed by the SANs for interim relief, seeking to pause the suspension, have been rejected outright. The process moves forward without interruption. Segment 4. The Personal Collapse. The toll on the 5 SANs is immediate and crushing. Their once busy chambers stand empty and silent, Support staff have been laid off. Major clients, corporations, high-profile individuals, institutions have terminated their relationships entirely, unwilling to be associated with lawyers now facing allegations of this magnitude. Income streams have dried up completely. Their names, built over decades of legal practice, now appear in court records and news reports linked to bribery and judicial corruption. Social and professional circles have withdrawn their company. Daily life has been reduced to attending hearings, preparing defenses, and managing frozen assets. What was once prestige is now prosecution. Segment 5. The Nnamdi Kanu Appeal. Here is where the story becomes even more consequential. The evidence gathered by the ICPC has become a decisive force driving Nnamdi Kanu's Court of Appeal proceedings. His legal team submitted the full dossier directly to the court, bank transfer records, signed ledgers showing bribe amounts and assigned tasks, internal memos listing deliverables, and documents seized in the raids on the 5 sands. The appeal argues that the conviction must be declared a nullity. The 5 sands allegedly used bribe money to push charges under the repealed Terrorism Prevention Act, suppress valid defense motions, admit tainted evidence, and deliver a predetermined life sentence. This was not justice. This was a purchased outcome. The Court of Appeal responded with clear urgency. Special sessions were scheduled to examine the ICPC findings. Justices reviewed the wire transfers, studied the ledgers, and interrogated the internal memos. They asked pointed questions about why the repealed law was still applied despite clear and documented legal challenges. The ICPC dossier provided the answers in black and white. Payments matched the dates of critical rulings, and memos specified the required outcome of life imprisonment. Rulings on preliminary matters have already favored the unrestricted admission of the ICPC evidence. The core hearing is advancing rapidly. Kanu's lawyers argue that allowing the life sentence to stand would be to validate corruption within Nigeria's justice system. They are demanding that he be discharged and acquitted because the conviction rests on an unlawful foundation bought with 50 billion naira. The 5 sands suspended, barred from the courtroom, and unable to mount an effective defense of the original judgment. Watch from the sidelines as the legal outcome they were allegedly paid to deliver unravels session by session. Close summary and forward look. This is not a quiet investigation. This is a powerful, public reckoning, one that is reshaping the conversation around judicial integrity in Nigeria. The ICPC continues to push the criminal case with unrelenting force, filing additional motions, conducting follow-up raids, and presenting fresh evidence at every stage. The Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee advances its hearings without delay. The body of benches moves toward permanent revocation of the SAN rank, and the Court of Appeal presses forward on Kanu's appeal, page by page, transfer by transfer, memo by memo. The 5 senior advocates of Nigeria stand exposed across every front, fighting for their freedom in criminal court, fighting for their licenses before the LPDC, and fighting to preserve whatever remains of their professional standing. The system they allegedly corrupted is now turning its full weight against them. Justice that was allegedly bought is being reclaimed. The price for the 5 sands is steep, and the reckoning is far from over. This is Afrisight Forum. Stay with us as this story continues to develop.